Hey there, it's Peacekeeperalex and the Psychic Wargamers. This is going to be the Psychic Wargamers stream, number 71. And Total War 3 Kingdoms, Yellow Turban Rebellion campaign, Let's Play, number 63, the Psychic Wargamers. That is. And we're going to just load it up here. Encircled, still at war with multiple factions. Too long the reinforcements may arrive to relieve their embattled comrades. Continue on, and here it is, right here. We're fighting another battle here. Battle of Yingchuan District, going due against Yuan Shu. I did not remember it to be this again. It does predict a defeat here. We can try to withdraw. I think we can actually try and win this battle. Going to do against Yuan Shu. Battle of Yingchuan Imperial City. Tang Xuan Shu against Paijun Huangzu. And another two generals in reserve as well. So yeah, another 1800 they have. More than what we have, so this is probably a bit of a gambit. Do end up reinforcing east side. Gongdu forces are already there, so if we could just take a chunk, do what need be done. So we're going to send our troops towards so 4 retinues hit the field, and there's the 5th. We get our bowmen in range. Cavalry, 2nd spot. There's a couple other bowmen that need to be in the 1st. And as you can see, we are traversing a large portion of the army, and the enemy has formed a line. And they're just right outside the reach of our allies. Small amount of units chilling out. And in the distance you can see some enemies as well. Heavy sword infantry, light spears, light sword cavalry, and more medium sword as well. Getting like 6-7 units in total. Way out in the back. See the general. Huangzu. front. As you can see, kind of trying to get our lines situated. And the enemy is kind of staggering a little bit. But he is moving towards us. So we do have our defensive lines, and maybe setting caltraps is the way. Is the way. The archers are going to fire here in a moment. Our enemy is coming into view. Caltrap line is ready to go. And we got most of the units, I think. One pesky. Do not fire. But most of them else did. And the archers firing upon the Turban Warrior's captain. And then we got a cavalry charge right on their left flank. It's going to slam into their bowmen. We wanted to end up hitting them just a bit. And more cav charge coming in from behind. And then the last one as well to kind of put the spike right on that. One of those archers. So we got our cav units chipping away, and then we got our archers, and they are starting to fire upon, and the caltrop line is there. So the enemy is getting hit fairly hard. Seems to be a bit of the theme happening. And these guys over here on the right side, swordsmen trying to retreat, getting hit really hard. Like 3, 4, 5 archer units here pelting. And the amount of arrows falling here. These soldiers falling here fairly quickly. And we knew it was going to be the archers that had been set up for He forces that were going to be the difference maker. See Wufu is his name, one of the enemy general. Causing havoc amongst the lines and the grouping of the enemy. Like High Swordsmen and then Young Warriors. I got the Heavy Glavers or Dragons. And then we do yell Turban Spearmen. Hoping for the Temple Keepers to be sure. Would have been nice to have on this one. past that caltrop line. Getting hit by enemy archer fire here. Sacred Garden Watch. Under severe attack. And we end up firing back at the enemy here. Arrows and the archers. And they end up fleeing and scattering as we chase them away. And we're losing ground. Then we end up shifting positions and go straight to the archer militia, and they're not going to back down here. And they end up getting caught. Just a bit. Yep, they do. They end up getting caught. And the others rush in, so there is a battle ensuing with that. Right upwards, you can see that clash between Sacred Garden Watch and the Turban Warriors for He forces squaring off against Nanyang Warriors. This is Kingdom of Wei, I'm fairly certain. You can see a large portion of the army here. Archers still firing upon the enemy. And then we got a large grouping of enemy around one of our generals. And a handful of cavalry that are still alive. We're trying to get them out of there, because... the yellow turbans, warriors are going to find more than they bargained for, these archers and halberds. And then right behind they get attacked by Faith Preservers and People's Warband. For He side, a lot of yellow moving in and attacking behind the enemy, and have kind of this really cool strafe going on with a small attachment of He forces causing enemy to have to maneuver. You can see the large spears and the swords. And there is a lot of blood on the field. See either side chopping away at each other. Spears and swords is what it looked like. Another two units here, Faith Preservers and Formation Crushers, medium sword infantry that we end up sending towards them. And then we end up shifting bow fire on them as well. And the main bout's still happening. Way over here, Sacred Garden Watch, Yellow Turban Warriors, Yellow Turban Warriors Captain. Taking on Azure Dragons and Nanyang Warriors, and I think that was it. I think there's a couple units apiece here. Nanyang Enforcers on the right flank. And just still with having enough bows to be able to continue to fire upon, specifically if it's an enemy general, and happen to be. So the enemy, some of the fight looks to be out of the enemy, but I don't think that's fully the truth. To be understood, we're going to move up here. Militia Virtue, Yellow Turban Spearman, Yellow Turban Spearman Captain, and throw them at the left flank of the enemy. I'm going to bring in something here. Speaking... trying to break through. The Kingdom of Wei has this magenta color, I think, in this. If it is, it's either that or Kingdom of Song, but I don't think it's Kingdom of Song at all. I don't know. I don't think it is. To be true. And the forces still lie there, 2,900 for ally, 2,600 for enemy. And the enemy is squarely surrounded on pretty much all fronts. Just a little bit away from there, you can see Rapper Tiger Infantry, Jai Militia, and some Saber Militia units. But other than that, the one keeps watch, Heavy Glaive Infantry. And then, of course, it's the Rapid Tiger Guard, as well as, that's what it looked to be. Yeah, Tiger Infantry. Rapid Tiger Infantry as well, medium sword infantry surrounded by multiple Higi forces. Multiple units to be true. couple archers as well as Faith Preservers, 2 units, Formation Crushers, Yellow Turban Warriors, and People's Warband, all surrounding those 2 units there for the enemy. Fighting for survival now. The amount of outnumber and outmaneuver against the enemy. Men still getting cut down though in pursuit to end that. So we're going to see that Rapid Tiger Infantry right far as away group up probably. But still combat those forces there, technically speaking, on my left flank. My middle is still going on about it. Lankai Swordsmen, Zer Dragons, they're grouped up small now with the enemy general amongst them. We've found the mark. And they still have crossbows. So interestingly enough, they still have crossbows and archer militias. We're going to shift our archer fire to try and compensate for that. The enemy now under fire here by bows. Ooh, and you fire back with the men's red fire. Lankai archer units, and then there it is. Look at the other army here arriving. So we're going to want to form up, probably, considering we're almost out. We do want to recorrect though. So we're just going to want to bring everyone backwards here, because there are other armies coming through, and we're going to let that other one wind down. One of the few archers that still is around to a certain degree. Put them upwards. Get our other units into formation. Bring them all backwards here. So what did the enemy pack in here? Lankai Spearmen, Lankai Swordsmen, 2 units, Nanyang Warriors, Peasant Band, Lankai Archers, Warriors of the left, Heavy Sword Infantry, Mounted Saber Militia. Ones keep watch. Is that it? Mounted Sabes. Mounted Sabes. So we have to bring all these units around to try and form a line. And we don't have too much cavalry left at all. We have two horsemen. That's it. Jesus. Technically, or is he still on a horse? No, he's on foot. General is now on foot. Been on foot and still fighting the enemy. Technically speaking, he's still in that gang up that had happened. And this is the remainder of the front line battle that had happened here. So how legendary and metaphorical. The archers fire upon. You can see the enemy approach here, and the strength is fairly even. 2,600 to 2,000. Enemy troop count has a bit more, and they are starting to fire upon. Peasant Band. We are out of archer fire. We're out of arrows to a certain degree. Watch from the Peace, just got a couple left, but that's really going to be it. you can see this mounted saber militia pull up and try to cause something to have happen. So we send in the rest of our troops. A lot of yellow turban warrior units. We're going to go right inside that center. You can see the rest of our army here try and form up and surround the enemy. One last assault and offensive. Take a look at the selection markers so you can see. So we still got a couple units here badgering away. So we aim towards these horsemen who are causing us problems. So they're not going to cause us much more problems if they're dead. And that would be, gets them out of the way, nullifies that threat. And then we shift fire to the big bass because we want to be winning that battle. They said to shift it here. It's still going to be fairly needed. We shift it to the far front over here because I think someone wanted that too. So the enemy losing slowly. We are encroaching upon them. See the enemy cavalry off in the distance from some of the main battles, harassing some glaive unit, having to retreat to a certain degree. We're going to be able to shift over here to one keeps watch, and the crossbows. They're battling militia virtue and yellow turban archers currently. We shift this unit over here, and that might going to shift that entire look. Bring the glaives up and running, and there goes the enemy general attacks here. We end up having to stop. We have to recrack Wang Tzu. We're going to have to try and battle him. And that's going to go fairly quickly if he's going to be there. And we end up getting shot with arrows. Watchman of Peace here under attack, as well as some mounted saber militia. Surrounded, the enemy is amongst the main battle yet again. Bring those faith preservers right around and slam them right on that left side, and that's going to be over. Formation crushers moving through as well. So we just see a large amount of them on the run. We hit attack, we go over here, we flip the script. And the faith preservers charge against the enemy swords here, axes against swords. So watching a piece where he ran out of arrows to a certain degree. And the other dude was running way far behind. So just small groupings of enemy here from my left flank. He left flank to right flank for the enemy. Rapid tiger infantry on the left flank. Like swordsmen and Nanyang warriors. That medium halberds. That was the Nanyang warriors. You got those kind of medieval style kind of halberds. Mounted saber militia. Peasant band. Also on the right flank, Lankai archers, rapid tiger infantry. They were taking on bringers of righteousness right on the right flank. And those glaives still there. Putting up an offensive defense. And a large amount of enemy stacked there with those rapid tiger left, warriors of the left, rapid tiger infantry, Lankai archers. 3 units on their right side. And then way off in the distance you can see one keeps watch. That is that glaive infantry. They get a medium crossbow, infantry crossbow. So another 2 units that they can throw in. Just as we're kind of engulfing that center, you can see the main forces of the enemy is surrounded and outmatched. So if that falls through, being able to shift to that secondary battle on the right side, where we have that handful of units, Watchmen of the Peace, Yellow Turban Spearman Captain, the Bringers of Righteousness, and then we got the Watchmen of Peace as well coming in. Hand-to-hand combat as well as. And that is the remainder. Pretty much everything else. That's so enemies breaking in the center, just a small amount of enemy on the left flank for them to be able to stand on, and they end up folding to a certain degree. We're going to end up attacking and shifting and attacking the units from behind here from the flank. Excuse me, I'm recording. We end up shifting and the lines are rolled. The enemy ends up retreating on all fronts, pretty much. 2 units remain. And it looks to be the general. Some crossbows. Rapid tiger infantry as well as. So we're going to shift the army direction here towards this crossbow unit, just for laughs. So they end up catching up to them, clipping, and slamming into. Crossbows fold. Way off in the distance, warriors of the left. It's just a small grouping of enemy. Still standing watch. So we end up shifting army towards that. Rapid tiger infantry. And warriors of left. And there's still more sporadic enemy here as well. Like swordsmen correcting and coming back again. So we're going to see these shifting movements. E forces chasing down Cao Cao forces, trying to rout the enemy. Quest for this battle to be over. gets sent packing in a certain sense. Putting a little bit of a quick moving forward. So we end up surrounding multiple forces here, correcting and then retreating, ebb and flow to the end of this conflict. It really relies with this like last two warriors here, warriors to the left, and the general himself, and he ends up fleeing. Victory! So that was the end of that. So, victory. Heroic victory is earned. So 5,202 loss for the enemy off 5,933, 731 remaining. 4,726 deployed for Allied side, 3,404 lost, 1,322 remaining, 547 enemy captured. So we continue. We're going to see if the enemy's going to attack us. We have a fairly well fought battle here. Zhang Yan taking a go in Sun Du, delegate, and we end up winning. We're going to try and retreat from Battle of Yi, Imperial City, Gongsun-Du, because too many forces. Lu Yu ends up attacking, he predicts a close defeat of this one. Siege of Bohai's fishing port. Yet again, except that I think we can win this one. This one's 2,700, so really we just need to pull it together here in this battle. Start the battle, Siege of Bohai, fishing port. Lu Yu is attacking. going to start battle here. Multiple sides the enemy is hacking from, and we also do have a reinforcements line way off in the distance that we can try and put forth this retinue. Caused a little bit of damage. So we do got the oil spill in one of the entrances. We got multiple units in the ones right next to the entrances, both one on the left side of the oil spill, not too many, because we're kind of spacing away our forces. I think what we want to do is go to the left side here with that reinforcing retinue. Righteous Vanguards, Yellow Turban, Spearman Captain, Peasant Spearman, Bob Veterans on the right flank. We do need that those extra men. And we ended up getting attacked here by some mounted saber militia. Then we're going to end up attacking with 2 units, Yellow Turban Warriors, on this saber militia unit. One of our generals here is fighting to survive. He's taking out some archer militia. This is soldiers advance on light sword infantry for the enemy. Lu Yu forces. Got that orange garb. And more saber militia end up joining the fray. They end up getting surrounded. And they're... So we end up hindering half their force from being able to really attack on the left flank. But they amass a huge amount of force in the center. It's about like 15 units. Got some Axe Band, Saber Militia, Giant Militia, Goldie Spearmen, Archer Militia, Lankai Archers, about 5 units. Lankai Spearmen, more Goldie Spearmen, and then more White Horse Raiders, Mounted Lancer Militia, all coming up the center. And then they got this right side gang that has posseed up Giant Militia, Saber Militia, Archer Militia, and then of course Mounted Lancer Militia, all trying to hit the right flank side. Of course, clashing into those Spearman Captain. We bring forth all those units to try and hold the line. So we got a lot of different archers to a certain extent. Way off in the distance, you can still see those Yellow Turban Warriors battling it out against Lu Yu Forces Saber Militia. we're actually going to maneuver some of our forces here outside. Peasant warriors, Yellow Turban warriors, Yellow Turban warriors. So 3 units, and we're going to attack the enemy right from behind. So a small grouping of saviors trying to hold back the enemy. And a lot of different arrow fire exchanges. Just this large tide of enemy that's trying to push through. Look at this strength of Lu Yu. And then right out the back, 3 units charging forth here, trying to change the tide. And we're going to shift one of the units for arrow coverage. As Lu Yu is packing some archers to a certain degree. Still trying to send units over to that battle that's taking place there. So we surrounded the enemy in a certain kind of sense. And our arrows are still firing upon. Our forces do dwindle though a bit. 1,400 to 2,500. This carnage pit for the enemy. The amount of surrounded that has happened for the enemy here, even with having a fairly decent large force. Our archers here getting hit. And our forces are sort of folding away here. You can see the enemy has way more in that center area. We're able to hold off, and the right flank is wavering as well too soon. Couple units left. Peasant spearmen just holding the line there. So we're going to send in our archers. Paragons, medium sword infantry, holy arrow archers, Yellow Turban warriors. I'll try and take the saber militia and yellow axes for the enemy. Way out in the outfield, so it seems. The enemy have broken through. You can see just this pocket of Yellow Turban warriors still remain, but then horsemen too. Bow veterans. Bodies on the floor from the arrow fire. And then we have the Yellow Turban archers and our arrow just getting taken here. Arrow towers. And we do have some cavalry on the way. The city center really in sight for the enemy. At any given point, they can go and really take it, and that'd be the end of that. And then we try and bring some cav units to the fray to help the outskirt battles. gonna go with cavalry charges. So the enemy breaks over on this side.
Alex?
Yeah.
Sure.
We're gonna speed it up here a bit and see what we can do. See 2 retinues.
You said it, yeah. Huh? Yeah.
Oh, thank you. And we ended up sending it towards the city, which seems to be fairly overtaken from the enemy. So we're gonna try and wrench it from its cold, dead hands. First, by way of reaping. And we end up getting a 3rd retinue, and that changes the entire look. So the 3rd retinue... Our 3rd retinue hits the field, we'd get a trebuchet. So now we really can just sit and wait and pelt the enemy. So we're gonna group up. Get our archers together. Group together the remaining forces that we have.
She's happy? Yeah.
So we maneuver the trebuchet, and we start firing upon the enemy. There we go. Some of the trebuchet fire. So we bring our bowmen about 5 units. We end up firing upon the archer militia. Lankai archers. And then the other just grouping, a large grouping of various enemy light spears and swords. So the 5 archers able to make a dent, and then we end up meeting them right at that entrance. Technically, it would be the southern west entrance. We ended up saving one of our generals as well, too. Zhong Yulan, the healer. Getting 3 generals right to the front. The amount of blood and gonzos from the enemy trying to hold this entrance, southern west. The archers in position for my side to hit him from the high. That note of arrow fire, look at this. And it wasn't just there, it was also through the middle too, in the center. Kind of damage with that cavalry running around and the arrow fire following. Sprinkler of death, man. Now this last grouping end up getting hit by trebuchet and arrow fire on the retreat. And then some raiders in the distance here going on the charge. And in the charge meet. There we go, charge met. That's what it is. And then the arrows in the mix gone for the enemy. Bamboozled. Leaving a few dwindled forces to hold down the settlement, but we need to get there quick, so we hit the rat race button, try to burst forth through. Of course, our generals spot some enemy. We end up clearing the way by trying to get to that end zone. The yellow dragon, yellow axes trying to stop. Victory. So we end up winning by way of that extra reinforcement. End battle. Close victory. So Lu Yu deploys 3,560, loses 3,182. We're going to release some of the generals. 378 remaining though. We got 1210 remaining off 3,700 and some odd.
fact, that's why she got so much, because she had to hit hers again, because it was lame. So he checked it up a notch. That's right. That's right.
So, on the map, we can go northward. And I'm going to end up attacking Lube forces 3,721 against 1132. We're going to delegate and get rid of, not have to deal. We gain 1393 here. We're going to release, we're going to release, we're going to recruit. Okay, and what can we do here? Multiple forces to be able to maneuver, to be true. I think the best way to proceed, we have forces all over the map, and being able to maneuver here. Figuring out how we want to proceed. Backsea, you know, delegate. I think we're ready to take that one now because we've built the siege engines. Goes victory, siege of Backsea, regional city. Occupy wounded. Would be assassin must not control the newly occupied town. One of your officials is set upon by a particularly burly local. The attacker is a bona fide warrior, but the targeted official is also an ex-soldier, aptly skilled in combat himself. After a spectacular duel, the assailant is eventually subdued and detained. Lai Tai is true, an ex-soldier. That is correct. It's a great story. And in Backsea, continue to hold the line there. We're going to retreat backwards the one army. Jaizen. As we maneuver here, Yingchuan Imperial City is ours. We've defended it. Right up northwards to Hanai, right near the city of Dong. Again, they have like 6 forces there, so we're going to continue to move upwards. We're going to continue to take Lu Zhang, get rid of him. Because, yeah, he's all... Well, that's it. It's the Warden, is it? We can continue siege of Yi. So we're going to try and take Yi. For certain, but then also Lu Zhang, who's right in the mix. So it's going to be 2,873 against 1,238. So we can just start battling if that's the matter. Kang Wei against Lu Zhang. I think this is going Sun Du, is it? We're facing? Anyway, a lot of yellow axes. They have a militia of virtue. They have some archer militia, I think is what that is. They have 4 units of horsemen. And we're rocking 4 units of horsemen as well too. White wave horsemen and righteous vanguards. So we do have some bowmen as well. 3 units. And then the rest. Malay infantry by way of faith preservers, Yusha. And also Hilo Turban warriors. Yet again. There would not be one battle without that unit. I'll bring up the fences. So, maneuvering forces. You can see the enemy peaked right near these trees. There's a clearing right in front of them. And we're maneuvering right to our side of the tree line. Is what was tried to have happen. The enemy has their fences. We're going to try and hit him with the archer fire here. On either side. Try to hit him with our horsemen. So we're in charge here. We see this cav charge happen. Huge cav charge. Put the yellow axes right up against, and then we have our yellow turban warriors rushing in fairly close. So we go on the attack here. This large battle for the watchtower. Right on the left flank, the enemy groups up. Tried to double down on that side. So we're going to shift some troops over that way. So surrounded enemy, Galley Spearmen, Righteous Vanguards, Giant Militia, enemy's right flank, right near their arrow tower, technically ours now since we've taken over, but right on the left side we have a large swath of troops trying to break through, and this Giant Sword Guard cavalry for the enemy acting as like this linchpin that's holding my units from being able to traverse downwards to slam into this Giant Militia line as I put that attack order into play here. See some of the troops make it over there, but some of them still blocked by that horseman unit. Yellow Turban warriors in the distance as well too, trying to attack cavalry of the enemy. Right behind that play that's happening near the arrow tower. The enemy's a bit flat-footed, even with the harpoons and the spears that they have. We're going to bring down the hammer on him. These are the three units, this Yusha and Yellow Turban Warrior. 3 units in total. We traverse them downwards and put a little bit of a stopper. Enemy rough shoulder, to be true. Shut down that left flank base of operations. Just charge in. A few enemies still remain in a small semicircle, yellow axes, still trying to attack some of our forces. Enemy general, as well as remainder of an enemy unit and some archer militia in the distance still firing upon. And again, these guys still digging in the saber cav, a small unit of enemy, digging into the main conflict right behind, attacking our horsemen. We get our 3 generals on that. Well, they are actually far away, so we can actually slam into the goalie spearmen. And that did it for the enemy. That broke them. There you can see Lycan, one of the enemy generals, surrounded as well. this could be the end of it for them, I think. Kind of units utilized. And the enemy general is down. And that is it. Let's see the landscape. What a damage.
When did you get off the floor? Oh my god.
In battle.
Where do you find this shit sometimes? Honestly.
The amount. So the one side for he getting a lot of kills. A lot of kills, and the enemy not able to put up near the numbers for what is seen on the board here. So that was quick victory, close victory. So 2,873 deployed, 1986 remaining, 1238 deployed, 1142 lost with 96 remaining. So recruit. Continue to try and move upwards and shore up what we were trying to go for here. Over Bohai, we can actually launch more offensive. So delegate that. Decisive victory. And Bohai City. Delegate that. So we can take Bohai City as well. One unit that's right there, Gongsun Zan, still at war with him to a certain degree. Could actually march him northwards. We've got 4 armies there. Right across from where they're grouping 6 armies to a certain degree.
Oh my god, it's such a joke. Oh my god. Oh.
Tuning up.
Yeah.
News for therapists, and then they're somebody real working in that.
Hey, before you go, because you have to hear this, because I pissed myself today. Some people are really friggin' funny. And this person, I cried.
So we can delegate this. Battle of Sindhu fishing port. Pirate victory. Battle of Sindhu fishing port.
Is that my corpse being catapulted at high speed directly to the Chicago at your window at 3 a.m. I don't just want my death to be politicized. I want it to be wet.
Thanks for joining.
Like